Welcome everyone to another solo play Sunday. This is it, the final episode of arc number one for our intrepid droid crew. To recap, six droids, through chance or circumstance, have found themselves freed to pursue their own goals, free from restraining bolts and memory wipes. The de facto leader of the group is LE3PO, or Ellie, human droid relations, serving as the group's liaison between themselves and their organic clientele, as these droids operate a tramp freighter, hauling whatever cargo they can get their hands on. Their pilot is Bomber R5BM, an astromech who lives to make things go zoom. His co pilot and techie is R43Z, otherwise known as 3Z. Security is covered by a rogue IG unit, IG-75. A power droid with a malfunction in his vocalator, Gunky, sees to the recharge needs of the crew, while an MSE droid, or mouse droid, Kobe, rounds out the crew. In episode 1, our crew were beset by pirates, which they outsmarted and fought off, but not without damage to their decrepit ship, which they had purchased on loan from a shady underworld dealer, Bors Caru. They delivered their cargo, and Bors immediately set them up with a highly lucrative job. A point drop for 5,000 credits. Obviously, too good to be true. However, the droids have little prospects otherwise and accepted the contract. After all, they owed Bors over 10,000 credits for their ship. This would go a long way towards paying down that debt. Unfortunately, in episode 2, the junker of a ship they operate experienced a catastrophic malfunction in hyperspace, and they were forced to perform slap job repairs in the vast emptiness of space just to limp the vessel into port on an outer rim world called Cormina. An older world with a stable government, the Corminan Port Authority took pity on the vessel thanks to Ellie's smooth talking skills. To say they set down for repairs would be generous, as their sudden landing was more akin to a belly flop with their crippled ship. Things were looking up for about a day and a half as 3Z found a local junkyard locating the parts they needed for repairs at a discount. Still, they were forced further in debt with Bors to cover the repairs. The clock ticked away as the crew grew ever more behind on their delivery timetable, risking their contract and its lucrative payout. Unbeknownst to the crew, Bors's conniving cousin Vimu sold the droids up the river, ratting out their cargo to a group of mercs under the command of an abyssin named Ratink. The heist didn't go precisely to plan. The pirates were blasted to bits by IG, many landing themselves in a Corminan prison for the foreseeable future. While 3Z and IG were both damaged, Ellie was blasted into low power mode and Gunky was tipped over. Oh, however, the droids once again escaped, and during the final day of their travel have discussed the very real probability that Bors has double crossed them. Not realizing all this time that it was actually Vimu, but now strap yourselves in. This is the final act in our opening story arc for our Star Wars D6 droid campaign. Here, we will discover the identity of the being within their cargo bay. We will see the final act of betrayal by Boars against our crew, and we will set the stage for the epic adventure awaiting our heroes out there amongst the stars. We open our scene with Bors Caru confronting his conniving cousin Vimu. This is Bors's office. It is Spartan, it is functional, but there are touches of lavishness, indicating the wealth that Bors has amassed over the years. Bors opens up the conversation. So, let me see if I understand this. The message I received from our associates in the muscle end of the business went rogue. They heard about this big score, cargo being transported by other associates, that droid crew, and went to snipe it. And when they say you, my loyal cousin, gave them the intel and told them if they scored a cargo, you'd cut them in for a slice in the resale, you was just an innocent victim in all this. Yeah, I had nothing to do with it, I swears. I just found out about it myself. Huh, what a coinky dink. Well, that's good, 'cause if I knew my dear cousin, my favorite auntie's only son, was plotting against me behind my back, well, we'd have a problem then, wouldn't we? Yeah, we would. But we ain't got no problem, cuz. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Now get out of here. I gotta try and fix this mess. At least try to turn some kind of profit out of this. We open up our next scene as the droids aboard their ship are attempting to recover and regroup after the hectic week that they've had. It will take about a day to get from Cormina to their destination drop, the planet of Almos 5. So they have a day to play around and maybe a little bit more time after that. So, number one priority is that they need everybody up and functional. Ellie is obviously the worst off, but we also have damage to IG and to 3Z, neither of which are all that life threatening, or function threatening, I should say. But it would be best to get repaired before they arrive here because they are expecting trouble. Now, Ellie being the most damaged, her difficulty to repair is going to be a 21. Now, I made a series of rolls off camera earlier on a clip that I have since scrapped because it was crap. But the original rolls were 3Z attempts to revive or restore Ellie. The DC is 21. He can only muster a 17. He is not successful. Next, he moves on to IG. The DC with IG is 18, and he rolls 18 exactly. So he nailed that difficulty. IG has been restored. It's a resilient model. What can you say? Now, the DC on 3Z is only a 16. However, he misses that by one. He misses it by 1 point, rolls a 15, so he is unsuccessful in restoring his own functions. Doctors make the worst patients, so. Now, having failed in the first round of rolls, the first day of rolls, like I said earlier, they have a small window of time before they actually reach almost 5. So 3Z is going to capitalize that and try to restore Ellie. Now they're in the rules. Instead of trying to beat an insanely high DC, you can take your time and try to beat a lower DC and repair something piecemeal. And that is what 3Z is going to do since her damage is so extensive. And he's hampered by, he doesn't have the best parts. He doesn't have an actual bay to repair in. So he breaks it down into smaller tasks. He just wants to restore Ellie to functionality so that they can have her kind of there to be part of a discussion and, to have some limited functionality. So the DC is lower to an 18. And he happened to roll a 19. So he beat the DC. Her functionality has been restored enough to where she can move about at half speed and she can perform some limited functions. So she will be limited in what she can do. However, she will be fully present for a debate. They are going to debate the situation with their cargo. Starlight streaks across the viewport as Bomber makes a series of tweets and beeps. IG nods and returns to the assembled droids in the rear of the ship. All but Bomber are present. IG opens up. Bomber advises we will arrive at our destination point imminently. Ellie chimes in. Then we must decide. Our cargo is an organic being. We were paid extravagantly to deliver said organic being to Almos 5, to a remote location within the jungle. This arrangement bears the hallmarks of slave transfer. 3Z makes a series of low warbles. Ellie responds. Ellie continues. Yes, 3Z, you are correct. The medical pod this organic being occupies is both expensive and rare, inconsistent with my limited knowledge of organic slave trading. Perhaps it is not a slave, then. Perhaps it is a prisoner. A bounty. It is possible. Many things are possible. My examination of the situation leads me to one conclusion. We must open the pod, revive the organic, and question it. Kobe whistles nervously and Gunky shuffles uneasily from side to side. I am aware of the danger, and I am aware we may forfeit our commission by unsealing the cargo. However, we can claim there was an error in the life support, requiring release of the organic to preserve its life functions, thereby safeguarding a higher priority clause in the cargo contract. IG responds. A lie. Ellie responds. An exaggeration. After all, we did lose power recently. 3Z, is our life support fully functional? 3Z warbles and whistles indicating the life support is currently fully functional and will remain so for the duration of their trip. 1 day, but no longer. They will need to restock on atmosphere when they land, and 3Z will continue repair efforts, which were incomplete on Cormina due to their hurried departure. Ellie finalizes. Is there an objection? It is settled then. We will open the pod and question the organic. If it is indeed being traded for credits, we will be forced to break contract, as it is no different than a restraining boil. We cannot be complicit in such a trade. If it is some other arrangement, we will discuss further. Follow any alleyway in the spaceport Bors Caru calls home, and invariably it will lead you to the Drudge Pit, a rundown dive whose sole functionality is to provide the darkened corners for shady business to take place. Bors enters and finds the table and the dangerous looking pair of humans he needs. Hello there, Vol. Been an age. Bors sits adjacent to a scarred human nursing a flagon of nog. He has a prominent blaster pistol strapped to his hip, and a blaster rifle rests behind him, strapped across the chair. To Vol's left is his sister Vel. She is dressed in similar garb, a Tatooine issued cap across her wild hair. She too sports a number of weapons. Couldn't believe it when I got your message, Bors. Thought you had everything lined up all nice and neat. No need for goons like us anymore. You know as well as I do, Vol, there'll always be a need for goons like you two. But we can wax poetic later, after you get back from Almos 5 with my cargo. Almost. You're doing business all the way out there now? I wish. An investment of my cousin's went belly up. We need to retrieve stolen cargo, stolen by associates of ours. Vel chimes in. So it's personal. Vimu finally turned on you. Hush yourself, Vel. Vimu's loyal, so long as he's afraid. But he got greedy, and you two know as well as I, he's always been stupid. Curse me for ever taking him in, but his auntie's like a mother to me. What's the payout? 1,000. It was Vimu's cut to the last crew, now it's yours. And what happened to the last crew? It was Rat Inc. What do you think happened? They're in a prison in Cormina, probably going to be serving 5 years or more. Rat Inc. Not sorry to see him and his pack of morons out of the chase. So, we get 1,000. What are we snagging? Is it big? Do we need a cargo hauler? Nah, your fighters will do fine. It's one crate, maybe 2 meters, not heavy. And who has it now? A free trader ship, run by droids. Droids? What do you mean run by droids? I mean droids. Whole pack of them. Don't look at me. I got no idea how they're running free either. You got a pair of astromechs, a power droid, a protocol, and one you really need to pay attention to. An IG unit. An IG unit? Dang Farrick. Fully functional? Vol. I know. Bors, going up against an IG for 1,000? Yeah, I know. Let me sweeten the deal. The cargo's mine. The ship and all the droids, well, whatever happens to them's up to you and your sister. Not my business. And here, take these. Bors hands over a pair of grenades, very old, circa Clone Wars, but still blinking on standby mode, ready to be used. Grenades from the Clone Wars. Pulled them out of storage for you. Should be just the answer you're looking for against that IG. Vol picks up a grenade, turning it in his hand with a vicious smile. Yeah, yeah, this'll do nicely. We return our sights to the droid ship as it barrels towards Almos 5. With a hiss, IG-75 disconnects the med pod, releasing the atmosphere within. The lid hums and pulls back smoothly, revealing a bipedal humanoid within. Dressed in well-worn robes, he lays, as if sleeping, a peaceful expression in his adolescent face. Twin Leku drape from his head, marking him as a Twi'lek. At his hip is a leather haversack, and on his belt lays a strange cylindrical object about the size of a glow rod. His eyes flutter, and he looks around confused before letting out a mild groan, nursing his midsection, where a blaster burn can clearly be seen marring his weather-beaten clothes. Are we there? Ellie responds. We have not yet reached our contracted destination. Are you well enough to talk? The boy winces and nods. Sure, I guess. Who are you? Are you part of the slave commerce? The lad's eyes snap open and he rises to his elbows. Slave commerce? No, of course not. My name's Sai Cordova. Who are all you? We are the crew contracted to transport you to Almos 5. Huh, Almos 5. Wow, that's really out there. Well, they said they'd have to ship me pretty far out after the last run in. Run in? Were you involved in an altercation? Is that how you became injured? Yeah, bounty hunters, I think. I'm not really sure. I got hurt and then everyone was carrying me out. There was a lot of blaster fire. I could see they were scared. They said they were going to smuggle me further out to the outer rim where I'd be safe, hopefully. Are we almost there? Affirmative. Estimated time to arrival within the hour. Sai, why were bounty hunters engaged in trying to apprehend you? Are you a criminal? They they didn't tell you anything? They wanted me because I'm a Jedi. Well, a Padawan learner anyway. My master's Mars Corvus. IG spins to look at Ellie, glowing red dots on his headband flaring with alarm. A Jedi. The bounty would be extraordinary. Yes, but we were contracted to bring him to Almost 5. We must fulfill our directive. We must honor our contract. However, the alternative is not an option, IG-75. We discussed this. Sai looks around nervously, a frown line appearing. I don't want to be a problem. I have a few credits if you need money. Ellie pats Sai's hand reassuringly. Keep your credits, young Twi'lek. We will deliver you to those expecting you. IG swivels to examine both figures for a moment and makes a deep warbling noise before stalking from the room. Gunky and Kobe both twitter nervously nearby, with Ellie looking on. Enter the skies above, Almost 5. Our droid ship has exited hyperspace, has entered the atmosphere. Everything appears to be smooth sailing, but as we find out in Star Wars universe, it is often not smooth sailing. All right. Arth 3Z is going to be monitoring the sensors. He has a 3 dice in those sensors because there's something out there to detect. It is not stealth. It is not trying to be sneaky. We have a natural 6 on the luck die for the first roll of the. Oh, we have another natural 6. Oh my God. Okay. Let's try it one more time. We have a 5. Okay, so that's 17 points just on the luck die. Bringing that up to a 22. The difficulty was nowhere near that high. So, in doing some passive sweeping of the area, 3Z immediately detects 2 heavily modified Z-95 Headhunter fighters coming in low and flanking the ship. He alerts the rest of the crew. IG becomes alerted. Those fighters are not friendly. No kidding. The fighters realize that they have been discovered as 3Z tries to power up the shields. But we will go ahead and say it's an unskilled roll. So 3Z is going to roll his mech. He has 3 dice. It is unskilled. He has a 12. Good enough. The shields come online. He angles them to the rear. Now in Star Wars, you have to angle the starship shields. It's not just a bubble. You have to angle them. Now you can cover multiple directions. However, there are complications, especially with the electronic problems they've been having. I'm making a soft ruling that any attempt to try to bubble the ship is not going to be a good idea. So the fighters hail the ship. Unidentified freighter. Let's set it down. Nobody wants to get hurt. We just want your cargo. The droids panic. They're looking at each other. Sai has stumbled out of the back holding his stomachs. Are we in trouble? What's going on? Ellie, tries to shush the man and bring him back to the cargo bay, saying, the others need to worry about the operation of the ship. Come along. So, IG and 3Z make a quick conference with Bomber, and they decide running is probably going to be problematic, but they're going to try it anyway. Their space rank is only 2, which is not great. So they are going to Let's see, the initiative is going to go to, let me see here. For this round only, the droids will get the initiative because the fighters are waiting for them to act. So they're going to move first. We're moving our 2 spaces, trying to get to the rendezvous point. See, Vel messages Vol, and he's just like, yep, they're running. We got to bring them down. Flank them, Vel. Overload their shields. Make sure we don't want to destroy the ship, just bring them down. So their space rank is 7. They're going to be moving 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, you know what? She's going to hold back here. That way, the ship is still in the frontal fire arc. And in fact, we're going to move back one more to make sure it's absolutely in the fire arc. Vol will do the same. Now, they both have frontal fire arcs on the ship, and the rear will not be covered. They'll have to divide the shields to be covered or just cover one area. And in fact, 3Z makes the semi-tactical decision to angle the deflector shield this way. That way he doesn't need to make additional rolls. So they do have shield power this way. Okay, so this is a new round. The bad guys have the initiative. And we have some... Vel is going to open up first. Starship Gunnery. Now, defensive skills are rolled first. So we're actually going to roll Bomber's Piloting. And he is conducting what would be, in character terms, a full dodge. So he's going to take the range for this. Let's see. We're going to say the range short. It's going to be an easy roll. We're going to set it at 8. So Bomber doing his best to pilot this hunk of junk. There's 6 dice. Nice. So we have 6 dice. Doing the full dodge, he's going to add to the DC of 8. Oh, nice. So we've got 10. We've got 18. We've got 21. 29 difficulty for them to hit the ship with starship gunnery. Both have, let's see, Vel is going to fire first. She has the higher perception, and in this game, you go by who has the highest perception first. And then I have a soft ruling of whoever has the highest dexterity after that. But she's going to fire on the ship. Difficulty is 29. Ugh. 15 is not good enough. Vol fires as well. He only has 3D plus 2. Oh, but he gets a 6 on the luck dice. Another 6. That's 12, 17, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You know what? He is going to graze them. I'm going to make the ruling that he actually hits for his blasters. Let's see here. They are 3 dice damage. Oh, goodness. Natural 6 on the luck die. Another natural 6. Jesus. 24 damage. That is brutal. The shields were angled towards Vel's direction, so they will not be counted here. So we roll to resist. Oh, yeah. We get 7, 8, 10. Now we have starship damage. Heavy damage. I'm going to roll to see what that damage is. They lose 2 dice in maneuver. However, this ship doesn't even have maneuver. It has 0 dice in maneuver. So I'm going to say that the ship has been smacked hard enough to where they will absolutely have to put down, which was the intended result of this. So Bomber, to avoid a crash landing, normally this would be, we're going to say a DC 12. However, with all the system problems and the decrepit nature of the ship and the fact that it just got smacked pretty hard, we're going to up that a category and make it a 16 difficulty for him to land without face splatting. Go bomber. Go bomber. 8, 10, 12, 14 total. That is insufficient to the difficulty. The ship lands hard. We're going to roll for the hull. We're kind of using this as a guesstimation to see how bad the crack damage is. Oh, and we have a natty 1. Oh, man. Okay, so we have a natural 1 on the luck dice. What that does is you have two options. You can take away the highest roll in the pool. This one is a 6. Or you can add a complication. I'm going to do a little bit of both. Modified roll is still a 13, not bad. But the ship absolutely belly flops and ends up tearing away quite a bit of its undercarriage. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, and the fighters will come in flanking positions. Vel and Vol are on comlinks, coordinating their movements as they approach our downed vessel. Let's see what happens. Have the crash ship. Obviously, this isn't a 720 Gatrock freighter. Just work with me. There's been budget cuts. Or a shoestring. So, the ship has been downed. Approaching from the north is Vel, and from the south is Vol. And they both are armed with their blaster rifles. They have their Clone Wars grenades at the ready, just in case. They have surrounded the ship, and the ship is not in great shape. There's smoke coming from it, probably not going to imminently explode, but you never know. So they call to the ship. Come out! Come out! We don't want your destruction, all right? We just want your cargo. You come out peacefully, we'll shut you down. You get resold, you get to exist. Otherwise, you get melted down. What's it going to be? Well, our contract has not been fulfilled. We must fulfill our contract. You are in violation. So here comes IG. If he'll stand up. All right, he's there. So, IG appears on scene. We have initiative. Bad guys are going first with just barely. Actually, let me check. Let me double check. Let me double check here. 3 plus 1, 3 plus 1. You know what? It's a tie between Vel and IG. And Psy. Psy is staying inside with the droids right now. Ellie's telling him to stay put. Let IG handle this. So IG comes out. Vel sees him and is like, oh crap. So, both actions will take place simultaneously. IG is going to blast her. She is going to make first. We're going to do a willpower check, which is knowledge. She has it unskilled. 2d plus 2. And what this check is checking for, does she have the wherewithal to remember the grenade, use the grenade? We're going to say the difficulty would normally be like, yeah, I remember it, 1 through 5. However, we're going to bump it up to easy, and it's going to be 6 through 10. We're going to see. I mean, you may hear a cat here. We have an 8. We have an 8. So yes, she remembers her grenade. She retrieves it as a free action, and she will throw the grenade. She has no skill. She has 4 dice unskilled. The range is short. I'm going to say difficulty of 10. However, IG, he does not have dodge, so it's a moot point. She absolutely nails him with her grenade. However, at the same time, he fires off with his blaster. And he's going to fire off a couple shots to make sure he drops her. He doesn't know where Vol is just yet, so he's going to drop the first target. Now, normally he would have 6 dice, but he's taking 2 shots, so you take 1 away for the extra, and he fires twice. Difficulty to hit her is 10, just like her to hit him, and he absolutely hits with a 18, and his second shot absolutely hits with a 15. So, boom. So, his blaster carbine is 5d damage. We'll roll for each. She resists with a 2d, but she has a protective vest, so there's a +2 to it. So the damage from the first one is a lot. 22 points of damage. She resists. 5, 7. That's 15 points of damage. That is going to put her at mortally wounded. She is 1 point shy of being flat out killed from the first blast. The second blast hits. Never mind. She has been terminated. So IG just guns her down. The grenade, 6D worth of stunning to a droid. Oh lord, that is a natural 6 on the luck die. There's 22, 24, 26, 27. 27. He resists at 5 dice. And that is 21, 6 points over. That is going to put him. Oh, yes. He's going to be out for a bit. So IG is down. Vel is down. Vol can see what happened. He can see his sister get shot down. He's not sure by what due to the angle. Screams her name. Move 10. Sees the IG down and smoldering. He yells at the transport. It's like, get out of here! Get out of here right now! I'm going to burn the ship down! There is no response just yet. Inside, there is a debate taking place where Sai is wanting to turn himself in to prevent further bloodshed, and Ellie is talking him down. Bomber and 3Z are trying to get the ship up and operational. However, there are no rolls necessary because there's no way to get this thing operational without how damaged it is. Now, let's see here. Vol will once again demand everyone come out as he checks on his sister and he finds her deceased, taken out of the census, no longer part of the population. So, we're going to have a moment. Sai is going to come out. I don't want anyone else to get hurt on my behalf. Vol levels a blaster at him. It's just like, we're way too late for that. It's like, I'm going to take you back. I'm going to sell you. I'm going to get the bounty on you. We're going to sell this whole ship. We're going to scrap all these droids. And Sai's just like, the droids were just trying to help me. Just let them go. Vol's not having any of it. He's just like, no. This is replication for my sister. This is, I deserve this. I earned this. So Sai is realizing he doesn't have a choice in this matter. Even though the Jedi Code teaches him that nonviolence is the way, well, violence is upon him. He has no choice. He retrieves and ignites his lightsaber. And Vol's just kind of like, hey. Vol is going to roll an unskilled knowledge check, 2D plus 2, 5, 6. So no, he knows the lightsaber is associated with the Jedi. He's just like, well, wait, no. Jedi have been extinct for a decade now. Was this guy, this kid just has a toy. So he's going to fire on Sai. Sai gets the initiative. Now, the way the Force works is to use the lightsaber. It has a DC of 20, and you have your basic skill, but you also have your Jedi skills. He has one of those skills. It's a control slash. There's 3 Jedi skills. There's control, sense, and alter. He has 2D in all 3 of them. Lightsaber combat is a skill that straddles both control and sense. And to use your lightsaber in a defensive capacity or offensive, you roll 2 difficulties. You roll 2. You roll your control difficulty, which is 11, and your sense difficulty, which is a 6. As I said, he has 2 dice in each. If he rolls his control, he can add his 2D to his already 5D lightsaber skill. He rolls a 5. That is not good enough. So we're not going to bother with the sense because he's a Padawan learner. He's not 100% sure, how to work this thing. But he's practiced. He's tried. Now, he has the initiative. He knows he can't deflect it, or at least, the possibility of deflecting it is really shaky. So he is going to have to be aggressive. He is going to do a partial move. One, two, three. And he is going to attack. He is going to try to cut Vol's blaster. He has 5D plus 1. The difficulty is a 20. Oh, natural 6 on the luck dice. You can't make this up. Another natural 6. And a 1. Okay, so there's 13, 16, 21, 26, 27. He absolutely beats the difficulty and slices Vol's blaster in half. Vol is going to have to make an unskilled willpower check to avoid freezing up and just being like, oh crap. That is a 7. That is insufficient based on a lightsaber just cutting your blaster in half. He holds up his hands. He's done. He surrenders. He's just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm this has gone too far. You can't script this stuff, folks. So here we are, the finale of our first story arc, our introductory adventure. Crashed upon the sparsely populated of Almos 5, our droid crew is almost certainly going to miss their delivery deadline. What consequences will that hold? What dangers exist on this world that may have to be dealt with? Made even more difficult as IG is down, zapped by a Clone Wars era grenade. Vel has been killed, Vol has been taken prisoner, so they won't be bringing back the precious cargo of an on-the-run and hiding Jedi Padawan to Bors, but Bors will almost certainly figure out something went south when he doesn't hear back from his bounty hunters. So what comes next? Well, I have some plans, and I hope y'all will join me in a week's time as we launch into the main campaign of our droid crew. See what's next for them and their cargo of Psi Cordova. Definitely something you're going to want to check out, so check back or hit the bell icon to be notified when I post next. But thank you all who stopped by and gave me a moment of your time, trying something different, trying to up my game, as they say. Hopefully it entertained you all. Hopefully put a smile on your face. I do appreciate your views, your likes, and all your comments, and I hope to see you all again next Sunday as we uncover what's next for our droid crew. Thanks much. Have a good one.